me to just bring them in?
Yeah, just bring them then, yes.
All right.
Yes, that'll work. Hey, Julia. Hi, Jim. Hi, Susan.
Hi,
Hi there.
let's see. Talk. Hey, how you doing today?
I am well. Oh,
No bike riding.
nice. Enjoy.
Well, I like the bike ride. I got my shot yesterday morning.
Oh, that's good. I'm so glad. Yay.
Second one.
All right. So 2
Yeah.
weeks till you're at least really good and immune. That is nice. I'm glad to hear it.
Thank you.
That is really good. I'm going to get on the waiting list here and I'm going to listen to the latest update from UF to see if we have the option of going up there for faculty.
Jim,
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Hello?
Go ahead, Janice. Oh, you muted yourself, Janice.
did Jim get the Moderna or the Pfizer?
Pfizer.
Yeah, I got the Moderna. I got my second shot coming up in a couple of weeks, but I wanted the Pfizer, but I got mine at Publix and they just had Moderna.
I don't know if it matters, does it?
Well, I think the Pfizer has a better rate of immunity.
Yeah, it's 90-something%.
Yeah.
Well, so is Pfizer. Yeah, Pfizer is 95%.
Yeah. I just read an article on one of my nursing things this morning that Great Britain is combining the Pfizer with the AstraZeneca, giving one shot of AstraZeneca and the second shot of Pfizer, and they think that's going to cover, but they didn't say anything about Moderna.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Whatever.
Well, we still have to be cautious. We still have to mask. We still have to try our best to not get it, because this is just to make it so that if you do end up with it, it's not going to affect you as badly as it could, right?
Yeah.
All right. I apologize to you all. I have a migraine and I took some drugs. And I have been yawning ever since I've been on here. So it's not you, it's definitely me. I don't have a whole lot to talk with you all about today. I do want to go over.
Are you doing the pruning class that follows this that I signed up for?
I did the pruning class on Friday.
Oh, okay. I thought it was following this meeting.
It's possible. Hold on.
There's one on lawns today at 2, I think.
Today at 2?
Well, never mind. It's through the Audubon.
Oh.
Lawns and wildflowers through Audubon.
Oh.
2 o'clock.
But if the class was Friday, it was recorded, right? I can listen later.
Yes, you can. Yes. Okay, so I know that Jim sent out an email about us going to Fort Christmas, I think it is.
Yes, Fort Christmas.
All right.
But we didn't get a lot of responses, not what I expected, because when you think, we have like 40-something master gardeners. I got like 6 people that were interested.
Okay, and what about going to Bach Tower again, or any of the other places?
Well, what about McKee? I haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, I'd want to go to McKee. That would be a good starter trip and whatnot. I think that would be great.
Okay, I'll set something out.
Okay, great.
See what we could get.
So that was the thing that I wanted to talk with you all about today. I want to talk about the CDC guidelines, because I did tell you all, yeah, sure, you all can make your plans, do your trips, do all of the things that you want to do. just remember to follow the CDC guidelines. So I went and I pulled up the new ones. I saved this on the 26th of January after we'd had that conversation in our meeting. So you can visit parks and recreational facilities. You're still gonna have to wear a mask. You still need to stay at least 6 feet apart and try to avoid the crowds. So if there's a particular, like I like to go look at the sculptures that are in there, the little metal ones. But if there's a crowd at a particular angle of that one, you're just gonna have to wait until the crowd moves on before you can go in there and look at it from that point of view. All right, so, and it says visit parks and recreations that are close to your home. Don't visit crowded parks or campgrounds. Carefully consider the use of playgrounds. Well, y'all don't have to worry about that because we're not messing with children today. Stay at least 6 feet from people you don't live with. Wear a mask, wash your hands often. Don't share items with people you don't live with. So we still won't be able to like have a potluck kind of lunch. I wouldn't recommend anybody, even though Peggy has a bunch of cookies baked, I wouldn't recommend that she go ahead and share her cookies with anybody. We just really, really cannot do that.
Nikki, I've been caught getting someone to take my picture, like almost handing them my phone and going, "Will you take our picture?" And I'm like, "Wait, what? Stop."
Your phone, Susan.
Yep. I didn't do it, but I nearly did. Or someone asks you, "Will you take a picture of us?" Sure.
Oh my.
I'll hold your camera and take a picture and eat lunch and yeah.
Right. And please remember that hand sanitizer is a major thing these days, right? Even though I was one of those really, really ridiculous parents, I never let my children play in the little ball thing, the little ball pit thing. Just the thought of it creeps me out. Because children are germsy. And here were other children rolling in those balls with their little germsy selves. And then I'm going to put mine in there. No.
And their leaky diapers, you mean?
Oh my God, yes, please. And then you know what really ruined it? In my teenage years, I watch a lot of 60 Minutes and other little news shows like that, right? And sure enough, here comes this one broadcast where they tested the little ball pens from like 50 some odd McDonald's and other places. Oh my heavens. Fecal E. coli was the end of it for me. I was like, oh, you've got to be kidding me. Children lost diapers in there. And then what really bothers me too is like the parents. You know your kid had something on their butt before they went into the ball pen, right? What do you think happened to it? And I used to walk with baby wipes and I used to walk with hand sanitizer with Nicholas and Samuel. I think that's probably why they're so inclined to act like Pigpen these days, but maybe I'm wrong. And I didn't keep them away from all germs. I mean, they're not delicate. By no means are they delicate, but boy, I don't know. The ways I see people operating, they're just not, I'm not a total germaphobe, but I don't go and hug them up and let all the boogers slide down on me either. Anyway, enough of me. It's all of the very, very basic and more common sense types of things that we've got to do. Try to make sure that if you all want to sit and have food, that the area where you sit to have food is going to be available and open. I liked this picture simply because in this park, they made circles and people would put their blankets within those circles. Right? So there are things that can be done. Try to, no matter where it is that you decide to visit, try to make sure that you are being cautious with yourself. All right. And if you don't have hand sanitizer or something, well, then use something else. Just buy the little $1 pack of the little baby wipes and whatnot. Those things really do work. They definitely do. All right, Julia, thank you for showing up. I will see you next week at the office. Yeah, definitely miss her. Hi, Nancy Madsen.
Hi. How you been?
I'm okay. I am just going through the CDC guidelines for to remind you all that when you're planning to go somewhere, it is important to follow more than a few instructions from them, and just to remind you all that, you know, we can go on trips. We just have to follow CDC guidelines. So trips are not off the books. I went back and I reread a few of the guidance things, and then we had another meeting, excuse me, since I spoke to you all. So I just downloaded the CDC guidelines and told myself to just go through them again with you all. Oh, who of the Master Gardeners have received the vaccine? Quite a few of you have at least gotten one shot. Jim and Charlotte just got their second shots.
Yay, Jim.
Yes, yes. So that's a wonderful thing for sure. Yes. So I am very grateful for that. And the more of you who get it, the better it will be. And I will be signing up to go on the waiting list and to be added to UF's, whatchamacallit, if possible, if we're doing it that way. All right, so, and during the last meeting, the question was if we could do carpooling, okay? Carpooling is an option. So I pulled down the CDC guidelines for that as well. So rideshare, carpool, taxi, limo for hire, and vehicle. So you still have to make sure that you're wearing a mask. You have to clean your hands before getting in to the car with somebody else. Try to keep your hands to yourself. Like, I remember that from kindergarten.
Keep your hands to yourself.
Keep your hands to yourself. Don't touch things, right? And when you are going to be having to touch things, then make sure, like, pretend you're the biggest germaphobe on the face of the earth and use a tissue or use something else. But you all are not going to necessarily be in a ride share, you know, like Lyft or Uber, where 50 passengers have touched it, right? But if you all are going to carpool, carpooling is limited to one other person in the vehicle. Both of you have to stay masked. Then whoever's car it is, both of you need to be cognizant and try to keep your touching of excess of surfaces to a minimum, okay? use a hand sanitizer if you have to touch things, right? I think that this is the coolest part on this. Don't accept offers of free water bottles. Avoid touching magazines or other items that might be provided. You know, a lot of times on airplanes, you have an in-flight magazine type of thing. I didn't do those either when I was young. My brothers always used to leave with their own copy of Horizons magazine off of Cayman Airways, but not me. I would just go down to their office when we got to Cayman and said, "Hi guys, I'm here for my free copy of the magazine." Because I mean, like, I've seen raisins stuck in there, chocolate, and I used to be like, no, that's not for me. That's for somebody else. They just left it behind. So, all right. So sit as far as possible from the driver. Excuse me. Although I've heard the complaints that it is ridiculously awkward to appear to be driving Miss Daisy. Right? So that's how that goes. And one of the things that it recommends is open the windows or setting the air conditioning on to fresh airflow and not the circulating air. Okay, that was important. After exiting the vehicle, sanitize your hands because you had to touch the door handle. All right, and then when you arrive at the destination, try to wash your hands. Try to do a proper hand washing before you go ahead and start out for your little excursion. So those were the things that I noticed on the CDC guidelines that I thought that would have been practical to highlight to you all. Of course, you all aren't doing shared bikes, scooters, skateboards, or other micromobility devices, so we don't have to go too much further down into that rabbit hole. All right. Now, and besides that, I really don't have anything else to talk with you all about, except for I am planning Master Gardener training, and I really do need help with teaching those classes. So if you have the time and inclination, please join me in teaching the Master Gardener class this year. It'll be on Thursdays, and I'm hybridizing it where I'll have people in the classroom as well as via Zoom. So you don't have to show up in classroom if you don't want to teach, to help me teach.
Nikki, is that volunteer hours or?
Yes, it is. Yes,
Okay.
it would be volunteer hours for sure, if you're actually helping me teach. Another thing is, for those of you who would like to brush up on a particular subject or just don't have anything better to do on a Thursday, you can feel free to join the classes. I will be sending out the schedule and everything in another couple of days. I'm just trying to finalize my fellow teachers and a couple of the places that I want to do field trips to. I'm going to see if I can make arrangements to be able to take more than just my class like I normally do. So none of this is new. It's going to seem new to my new trainees because you all have not had my regular class set up. So normally when I have a field trip day, so if it's a field trip, like when we went down to the winery for pruning class, normally whenever there's a field trip, I just invite all of the master gardeners to come out for the field trip especially. But they're always welcome to attend any of the other classes that they might want to show up for as well. Right now with COVID-19 protocols in place, I am limited in being able to invite as many as I would want to physically be in class anymore. So that would be a limitation, but for field trips, I can open up field trips because we can socially distance for nearly every single field trip. I am definitely going to send out an email to my latest classes once I get all of the field trips for my current class scheduled, so that you all will be able to attend those learning events that you normally would have had if we'd been able to do them at that time, but I was limited in the ways that I would be able to get you all to access them. So, all right, so I think that's it. Yes, I am hoping for more people to join me in teaching, and field trips are coming up. We're going to do our best to socially distance. Jim, I recommend that you send out a list of the places that everybody would have wanted to go to and just see what the interest would be, because the camellias are not going to be cute at Bok Tower for another 2 or 3 weeks. So you all are going to have to get on it if you want to go to Bok Tower for the camellias.
Well,
Botanical Garden is going to still be here, and that can be something that you all do in the middle of the week, spur of the moment type of thing. That can be done easily. And let me know when you all are going there, because I might end up going, and we can always ask them for a guided tour as well if we want to, and for a space to be able to eat. So I have been making some inroads over at McKee.
okay, because I've already sent an email out about McKee to see what kind of response we'll get.
Okay, great. And send one out now about Bok Tower, because I know that when we had the meeting a couple weeks ago, when we mentioned Bok Tower and being able to go see the camellias, the main thing that was a sticking point was not being able to carpool. And we can carpool. It's just that you all are going to have to be very careful, mask up, and socially distance when you're there. But Bok Tower is doable even if you're going to be carpooling.
Okay.
And that's a really good full day type of thing. You all will be thinking that you're 5 years old again and it's been your first day of school. Anyway, I think that's just about it. Hello, Charlie.
Hi, Nikki. How are you?
I'm quite well. How are you?
Great.
That is good. How's Carla?
She is working today.
Yes, I figured as much.
Working today and tomorrow, and then she gets a couple days off.
Oh, all right. You know, we love all of our people who work in the hospital. Tell her to just stay safe. We are cheering for her. Gwen put in 2 new raised beds and mulched an area on her back patio the other day. And I'm guessing those are going to be her raised beds for vegetable gardening. I'm just going to keep on looking. I like lurking on Gwen's Facebook page because she has puppies too. So between the puppies and the gardening, like, so, and I'm going to be going over to bother Lena a little bit later on today as well. Lena is the person who I really depend on when I have seeds and I can't babysit them. I drop off seeds to Lena and I'm like, hey, Lena, would you please fix these up for me? And I have a whole new package of sorrel seeds to drop off to her. I'm getting strawberry plants even though it's late to be getting them. We'll see what happens with those. Are any of you all still doing your vegetable gardening?
Yes.
Oh, well, Susan, what have you got coming? What are you doing now off of the list that we
Started last summer. Well, I already harvested all the spinach. I still have, let's see, I can look out front. I've got bok choy and tatsoi. I've never grown that before, growing in a bed, and that's quite good. And lettuce, of course, and some kohlrabi. But I want to plant some new stuff. So maybe another round of kale. I don't know. And starting tomatoes too. I want to start my tomatoes from seeds.
Okay. Yep, now is the time to do it. We just shared a little list on Facebook the other day. And guess what I missed off on the list? I don't know why, other than maybe it's subliminal. I didn't put peppers on there. I eat hot pepper, y'all, but sweet peppers, I can only eat the green ones. And my friends usually have enough green bell peppers and they share with me, so I never really grow peppers. And I guess that must be the reason why I didn't put it onto the list. But then there are other things on the list that I don't necessarily eat either, but whatever. I miss peppers being put on the list. But if you all go to the Facebook page, you'll see where we have a little list of things that you can start to add and things that you can still continue up until like the end of February or up until the end of March. So go knock yourselves out. It will be really, really great. Charlie, I thought about you guys' sunlight problem in the backyard.
Uh-huh.
A table. That way it's raised over the area that stays super wet, but it'll still get the sunlight in that little space there. Putting it on a table.
Well, change of seasons doing wonders. So more of the back decks in the sun every day.
Oh, well, there you go. That's even nicer. Yes. And I'm going to be experimenting with growing lettuce underneath my oak tree here in this yard. Both of the oak trees that I really actively grow anything under is to the south. So I'm thinking that they're going to get enough light at some point in the morning and in the afternoon to make it. Now, my regular bed is to the west, and then I have another one on the east. So those two are going to be fine. But I'm going to experiment with growing it under the oak tree here in this yard. I did it at another place. And because it was dappled light, it wasn't complete shade, I still got reasonable lettuce. So I'm thinking to myself that if I put it to the south side of my oak trees, that's where I'll have a better result from growing lettuce under an oak tree. I'm gonna give it another shot this time. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I tried growing lettuce under an oak tree before and it did just fine. So that's gonna be my next little experiment, because I did say so in one of my little groups that you can grow lettuce under oak trees. I just need to go ahead and get some pictures now. So that's gonna be what I'm gonna do. My next round of lettuce, I'll put some underneath the oak tree. I harvested one of my cassava plants the other day. I had one tuber that was this big around at the biggest, and it was about 2.5 feet long. It was pretty good size. And then I had a few smaller ones, but all of them were pretty big around. What do you... Oh, get it in the grocery store. Okay, they call it yucca in the grocery store. It's a very starchy tuber, and it has, it's got a lot of little fibers running through it, right? So it's not like how potatoes you can just easily mash it and it mashes out super creamy. You're gonna see little fibers in cassava if you were to mash it, which we still do. We still mash cassava. So I'm pretty pleased with my little harvest of that. I put corn in the ground. I don't know what ate my corn. So I'm going to have to try my corn again. I'm putting corn in my front yard so that I'll have some variety of grass growing out there. I amuse myself, y'all. I really do. And I'm gonna do pretty much a Three Sisters type of planting where I'll have beans, watermelons, or some kind of squash, cucumber family vine growing out there. And I'm gonna put a few sunflowers out there for where I put the cucumbers, so that the cucumbers can grow up on the sunflower seeds. But definitely some beans, corn, and some kind of cucurbit will be growing where my where my corn will be. So that's what I plan on doing. And now is the time to be putting out your sweet corn if you intend to grow any corn. But it definitely needs a good amount of steady, full sunlight for the corn to be doing anything. All right. So I will be sending out a couple of emails through this week. I need an insect survey done over at Egret Marsh, even though there are very few insects out there. I didn't see very many butterflies or anything else. Like nothing bit us when we were out there. So I just need an insect survey done. And then I'd like to set up a planting day for Egret Marsh. And I'm going to definitely send 2 emails to Adina because I'm a mess, not her. Oh, and I've gotten almost everything I need to have for getting the garden in Gifford going. So any of you who have time during this week and you feeling real generous, please let me know. I've got cardboard that needs to be laid, and I'll have mulch that needs to be spread. It is a huge undertaking, but I'm finally to a place where I've gotten the soil added and the grading done. So now it's time to put down my temporary weed barrier. And what I've decided to do, because of years and years of us dealing with this, I'm going outside the fence line as well. So I will be putting down cardboard on the fence line for 6 feet buffer. And I'm going to plant that area with natives and a few non-invasives, but mostly natives, so that we don't have the encroachment of the weeds coming from a bank right there in the fence line. So putting it to bed in the summertime and the weed bank being right there in the fence line, I think those were the 2 things that always kept that garden in a state where we were fighting and struggling a whole lot. So in order to relieve that, I'm eliminating that point where I believe we had an issue, the fence line, because the weed whackers were ineffective. It's a chain link fence type of thing. So the weed whackers didn't do a great job there because it would always cut up the string, and they couldn't mow close enough. So the weeds would just sit right there into the fence, and the seeds would blow in, the roots would go under. That was always a thing. So now that I've got an opportunity and I've completely razzed the place, now is a chance for us to go ahead and do it all over again and remedy some of these issues so that we're not dealing with them anymore. And then constant cultivation. I will not be putting that garden to bed in the summertime. I do know that we used to, and it made sense to do so. For one thing, there wasn't water. There wasn't a steady source of water out there, and no one in their right mind should be schlepping water in the summertime in Florida. No. But I will not have a water issue anymore. We have water in abundant supply out there. And so even if we're just going to rotate okra and something else into that garden bed for the summertime, it's going to be in constant cultivation so that we're not going back in to rip up weeds that have taken it over in the summertime to reset it again in the fall. I'm not resetting that garden, not ever, ever, ever again. My first 3 sunburns I got out there, and for years it's been a hot mess. So I'm not doing that again. Anyway, if you all are inclined to do some garden making over with me, I've got a huge spot in which to do it. So please send me a message or two. I've been collecting cardboard, and I will be collecting more cardboard over the next few mornings to put down out there. And it's basically like what we did at the IG Center, where we just placed the cardboard down. I definitely want it to overlap and spread on out. So please let me know. I'm hoping that the tree trimming company has dropped off a couple of loads of mulch. We're going to be spreading that out there super thick for right now, because that is not mulch that has had time to dry out. So if we're putting it like 5 or 6 inches thick, we might end up with our 2 to 4 inch level by the time it all dries out. So that's what I'm doing out there for right now. And then we'll be setting up the raised beds with the pavers, and bless her precious little heart, I gave Lena some seeds and stuff, and she's also got seeds. So we will have plants ready to be put in there, and then eventually we will have the children start back into the garden after a little while. I just want us to make sure that we have that space. Now, as with previous times that I've tried to get this garden going, those of you who live in communities where you can't vegetable garden the way that you would prefer, I've always said that you all can do gardening at the garden in Gifford. It's full sun. We're going to have adequate water, and you just got to let me know, and we'll mark off your spots for you, and you can go ahead and grow whatever it is that you want to rotate on in there. Just make sure that you are, you know, you're growing your gardens sustainable, your vegetables or whatever it is that you're growing sustainably. That's my only thing. I'd like to have this garden up and completely well managed into the end of the year. And then by the beginning of next year, I would like to then expand on out, put some beds out there, and invite community members to be able to have a real community garden in that area. That has been a little dream of mine, and I'm hoping that it will work out. Gifford is a food desert. It has been that way, and we don't need to go into all of the wherefores and the how-tos of it being a food desert, because that's not relevant right now. Our solution, our offering to be a part of the solution is to establish a really, really good garden in there where we are growing things sustainably. And then we'll be able to, I'm going to invite people to come in and teach different classes using things that we're growing in our garden. So that's my game plan. And I've even gathered a couple of people along the way who would be willing to help me get plants into homes, into yards. So I will definitely be working on our plant giveaways. I have spaces in there to be managed as demonstration areas so that when people come to Looky Loo, they've got something to see and talk about, right? And then we'll be able to put up our signs that say, if you like this plant, please show up here on Tuesday afternoon. We give them a half an hour talk on the virtues of Gaillardia, and we send them home with 3 of them. And I'm not talking about gallon-sized plants. I don't want to give away gallon-sized plants. I want to give away the little 2-inch starts or the 4-inch pots. I'm not giving away big plants. We don't want to set up anyone for failure. Big plants require big inputs to keep them going. Small plants, so they forgot to water them the next day. They will live on rainfall. You know what I mean? So we're going to try our best to turn as much of that community into a reservoir for where butterflies and bees would want to live. That's my game plan. I don't have to tell everybody that, right? I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to be community butterfly escaping in Gifford. No, we don't have to do that. We just have to say, hey, did you like that plant? Would you like to have a few of them for your yard? Oh, that's wonderful. What's your address? Okay, great. We put a pin down on that address and we let it be. Gaillardia will take over a person's whole front yard. And if there's empty space in their whole front yard, why not? Right? The same thing with red salvia, the same thing with porterweed, and we're going to have all of those natives. We're going to have all of these things that like to share themselves with everybody else. We don't have to say, we've got this huge project and we're going to use a lot of terminology that no one but us is going to care about. We don't have to do it that way. So that's my game plan, you all. And so I will be out there spreading my mulch on top of my cardboard and whatnot. So if you've got time and energy, please let me know so that I can get this done. I just want it done and going. And if you all have time to be helping with all the other things that need to be done out there afterwards and during the next part of the year, please let me know as well. We will be teaching the 4-H curriculum, which is the Junior Master Gardener training out there to the young people who will be doing gardening work with us. There's also, now I have 2 4-H clubs that are interested in coming into that garden space and doing STEAM projects. I am completely inclined to doing things like that. If you all see or hear of anyone giving away a pond liner or a fountain thingamajiggy, please let me know, because I need a new pond liner for the garden. And I definitely need a fountain thing for it as well. And no, I do not want to go and buy these things. People throw these things away regularly. So please keep an eye out. I no longer drive my little truck, but I will use the county truck since it's county business anyway. So, all right, I think that's just about it, you all. I am hoping that I will really, really be able to get all of these fun and interesting things done this year. Yep, I'll be sending out the email with the schedule for Master Gardener training. If you are inclined to teach, please let me know. I need help with Gifford, and I need an insect survey done over at Egret Marsh. Those are the finer points of our little get together. And please keep an eye out, because I know Jim has already sent out a few emails about our proposed garden adventures. So keep an eye out and answer him. If you all don't answer him, he can't plan for us accordingly. Okay? All right. And I just got an email that says I don't have to close the office for DC. Yay! I'm going to go get myself some cocoa. All right, you all have yourselves a lovely rest of the day. Thank you for showing up for my meeting. Peggy, you were missed. Please drop in every now and then. Yes.
I will.
Hi, Susan. I missed you on Sunday.
I missed you on Sunday. I still got you though.
But TB12 and TB is a winning combination. Let me
Yeah.
just tell you all that from now.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. It was really good to see you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.